Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boink Studios, and check us out on boinkstudios.com, where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 78 of the podcast, and if you're joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we will extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Episode 78. You hear the background noise? We are mobile today. I'm not in the studio, is what I'm saying. I'm on four wheels. Not four very good wheels, but four wheels nonetheless. However, we will not insult the automobile that much because we want the automobile to get us back to the studio. Have you ever noticed that, like, it's a car, you drive a car, but, like, if it's like a Mercedes or like a Bentley or, I don't know, maybe those two don't belong in the same category. I'm not exactly a high-performance car guy here, you know what I'm saying? But those aren't cars. Those are automobiles. Me, I drive a car. I'm of the working class. I'm the blue-collar podcast guy. I'm just a common man. Make a dream, baby. I can't really do it. I like to try to do Dusty, but, I mean, everyone's got a Dusty Rhodes impression. Even people who are not a pro wrestling fan got a Dusty Rhodes impression. You know what I mean? It's just something you have. It's kind of like Ali. Everyone always had like an Ali impression. So anyway, that's kind of, yeah. That's neither here nor there. I'm babbling. Hey, welcome to the show. Did I say that much? Glad you are with us. 78 episodes in the can as of this episode here. I'm pretty happy about that. Again, it's not as much as others, but it's more than some others. But we try to do quality work here on the Main Event, and we hope you've enjoyed it. When I tell you guys every time I come to you that I get great comments and emails and whatnot, it's the truth. It's not a work, that's a shoot. And I do appreciate it. I've got 2 or 3 folks that hit me all the time, so I really do appreciate that. And a lot more that hit me in other places. And like I said, man, it's greatly appreciated. Very cool vibes I get. Sometimes I'll get questions to cover things, and I've got some stuff lined up. We've got something big coming in September. That's all I'll say to you right now. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to ruin it. It's in the works as we speak. I've got some contacts, one of them at the very, very large sports network. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, we've got the ball rolling on an interview coming up. So stay tuned for that one, kids. So in episode 77, we covered the road to SummerSlam, which is still, it's still in its very early evolutionary stages. It's really happening as we speak. And there's some matches beginning to take shape. There's some things beginning to happen. And it's going to only get more exciting from here on out. Unpredictability is always a big thing in WWE, and it always has been. The last round of pay-per-view predictions I did was for Battleground, right? It was myself and a few of the other guys at BR, and I don't think any of us got anything right. Like, we just blew it. And I forget who it was. One of the guys made a comment on Twitter and said, hey, we're not fortune tellers, we're analysts. That's what we're doing. And I'm like, well, that's a good point, and plus it saved our hides and didn't make us look like, that ridiculous. But WWE has been known speaking of unpredictability, to completely pull the wool over your eyes and pull the rug out from underneath of you, as it were, and to the point where you're left going, what did I just see? And that's sort of what they've been doing the past couple, 2 or 3 shows. Not as predictable as has been in the past. So I'll be honest with you, I don't much care for predictability in the business. I've said this multiple times in the past, but being able to sit there and know exactly what's going to happen, what move is next, what the finish is going to be, how it's all going to end up, that's something I've been able to do since I was a kid. And I don't know why, because I'm a nerd, I guess, but fast forward years and years later, and my ability to do that has grown exponentially by leaps and bounds. So that's not bragging, and that's not me trying to suggest I'm better than anyone else or whatever. And it's just a fact, and it's just what I can do. I'm not always right. Get that quick. Okay, I'm not always right. However, it does affect my ability to sometimes to enjoy it. I just want to sit there and go, dude, I don't want to see that coming. You know what I mean? So that's just me. All right, again, we blabber. We do all of that stuff here, man. There's a really good reason I'm in a good mood right now, and I'm not going to share that with you. My business is my business, people. So, yeah. Anyway. I don't know what to tell you, man. If you're not as good a mood as I am, go get yourself cheered up. Watch a Disney movie. Go watch Pocahontas or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever even seen Pocahontas. I've never been a Walt Disney guy. I am now because they own Marvel. Get that. But, all right, enough of this. Episode 78 is here. This time the main event is Nakamura and some other stuff. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking right now. Dude, it's been a long time since you put the word stuff in a podcast episode title. You're right. You're right. But guess what? I did it. I'm happy with it. Hope you dig it. It's what I do. It's who I am. So let's go ahead right off the bat, man. Let's jump into this thing feet first. Let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style. Well, the artist formerly known as the King of Strong Style, because now he's the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. I covered some of this in the last episode. A little bit of New Japan, a little bit of Nakamura. We're going to get into a little bit more of that today. WWE has very, very subtly, and well, maybe not so subtly, depending on who you are and how you look at it, but WWE has ever so subtly started making the progression towards the new nickname. Nakamura is the artist. This is what they called Jeff Hardy for a time, remember? They showed Jeff Hardy backstage with a canvas and whatnot. They called him the artist. Didn't last very long. It made a lot of sense, but it actually makes a lot more sense for Nakamura. However, I'm not really high on the nickname. It's not ruining my day or anything, but in terms of, hey, Tom, do you like this? It's whatever. It's cool with me. I don't really care. But, the whole New Japan King of Strong Style thing, that is a New Japan sort of idea and gimmick and whatnot, and that is who he is. I get that, but at the same time, we all know that Vince McMahon likes to push what Vince McMahon creates, and Vince McMahon, if you not, in other words, you could be CM Punk, but when you get to Vince McMahon, you're CM Punk best in the world. You've got a new logo and then T-shirts and stuff, and so you can still be the same guy. But however, they need to put a spin on it so they get some money off of it, and I completely understand that. So I'm not losing any sleep over that, so it's whatever. But I really have noticed it. And if you haven't noticed, you're going to. And I may not be the first writer to have pointed it out, but I'm the first one I've read to have pointed it out. So, there. But anyway, we're going to attempt to merge into traffic here, folks. And everyone just, here we go. And we've done it! Success! We have successfully merged into traffic. So I'm pretty happy that worked out for the best. Not dying on an episode is always a good thing, although that would be a ratings grabber. Problem is you can only do it the one time, right? So, but yes, Nakamura, the King of Strong Style / the artist. What did he do, folks? He beat your boy, John Cena. Now, a lot of people were shocked. Twitter exploded. Oh my God, he just pinned John Cena clean. Can I just say this to you in all fairness right now? It's not exactly unheard of to pin John Cena clean these days. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, it doesn't happen all too often, but John Cena is in the third act of his active pro wrestling career in the ring. He's in this third act. He's still young. He looks amazing. He always has. The guy looks the same today as he did 15 years ago. I mean, give or take some wrinkles in the face, that's it. But same looking guy. This is not to suggest that he's old and broken down. Not at all. But he is in the third act of his in-ring career. I think he would admit that if you could ask him. So the time for John to start moving on, and WWE begin moving on as well, began about a year or so ago. Maybe I'm dating it. Maybe I'm not correct on the timing. It seems to me it's been about a year or so. The coronation of Roman Reigns as the new top guy has been a long, arduous process that a lot of people have not been very happy with. I've not been happy with it myself at certain moments. To be quite honest with you, it is what it is. He is who he is. He is the top guy. John Cena is the guy, of course, but Roman Reigns is the top guy, period. And that's how it is. And you can hate that all day long. Not going to change anything. Just like you hated John Cena being the top guy. Guess what? Never changed a thing, did it? We all had issues with that. And it wasn't so much John personally, just like it's not Roman personally. It's the way it's been done. But that's another topic. But no, John Cena putting over Nakamura clean did not surprise me in the slightest. I had written 2 columns for Bleacher Report, one on the pros and cons of John Cena versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam, and one on the pros and cons of Shinsuke versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. And now we know it's going to be, as far as we know, WWE can pull the rug out from underneath of you at any time they want to on this deal, right? But as far as we know, it is Nakamura versus Mahal at SummerSlam. That should be a good match. It won't be as high profile as Mahal versus Cena. It won't have the whole patriotic stuff in the background, of course. But let's be honest, it's probably going to be a better match. I don't think we've seen what Mahal can fully do. I think he had a good run with Orton. Let's see what he can do with Nakamura if indeed the match does take place. I'm very... this one intrigues me. I was a little worried, to be honest with you, when Nakamura went over on Cena. That crowd was pulling for Cena. And did they pop when Nakamura won? Yes, but if you go back and watch the replay, there's a little bit of grumbling happening, which was very surprising. I didn't see that coming at all. Again, John was getting some cheers, but I did not see the crowd grumbling at all. But it happened nevertheless, which was very, very odd to me. Again, just did not see that coming. The belly-to-back suplex, which I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I think Nakamura was going for a complete flip for John to land face first on the mat. Instead, John took it wrong or didn't realize what Nakamura called, or Nakamura didn't call it and threw too much momentum in it and was going for one move and actually hit the other. But John lands on his neck. Very scary moment for that company, because even though John is no longer really the top guy, he's still the guy. They don't want to see him hurt. No one wants to see anyone hurt. Let's just put that straight right now. We don't want to see anyone hurt. All right? We're all adults here. No matter who you like or who you hate, get over yourself. If you start wishing ill on people in the business, you don't really have any business being a pro wrestling fan. That's me talking. That's the freaking truth about it right now, okay? But, yeah, it was a scary moment, and the minute that Nakamura pinned him after the Kinshasa. I love that move. I love that name. If I could pronounce it correctly, Kinshasa. So after he pins him, Nakamura immediately, you can see him on his back, scoot up to John to try to give him the office and find out if he's okay. And then immediately after they show the replay, Nakamura turns around to shake John's hand. You can see Nakamura mouth the words, "I'm sorry." And, John's a pro. You have to believe John would never hold that against this guy. Nakamura, it's not like the guy just started yesterday. He is a seasoned veteran with experience selling out houses in Japan. This guy knows what he's doing in the ring. So everyone, let's calm down. Don't anyone get on his case too much. Crap happens in the business. I think we all know this. Crap happens in the ring all the time. Doesn't excuse it, but I'm just saying, for anyone out there who believes intentional or whatever, dude, stop. Just stop. It's all nonsense. Just get over yourself. It's not actually happening at all. Nakamura is a guy. He's the guy. He's the team player. He is. And if you didn't believe he's a team player, go back and look at how he's been booked since he got to WWE, because it's been less than stellar. We covered that in 77. We're not going to go back to that. But, yeah, no surprise to me that he won. I thought it was a good match. I was ticked off that they said it's coming up next at 9:30, and it was like 9:46 before the match actually happened, and they had to go to commercial after the entrances, come back from commercial and hype the women's match for next week before they can even get to John and Nakamura in the ring. And then took a commercial break in the middle of the match, and then SmackDown went off on time. And you know it went off on time because they were counting down Shooter to come on afterward. So all of that together didn't make me a very happy guy, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was not happy in the slightest, because I'm sitting there thinking, dude, it's a dream match. Stop this. What are you doing right now, right? So that part of it, I didn't care for at all. But I was happy with the match. I thought it was well wrestled. I thought it was well worked. I liked the pacing of it. John does what he does. Nakamura is always surprising. Nakamura is one of those guys, in my opinion, a lot like the old pros have been, kind of like Jerry Lawler, maybe Nick Bockwinkel, who didn't necessarily have to wrestle the same match every single time. They could change on the fly depending on who they were working. Flair could do that too. Flair got a lot of crap from some people, not from everyone, but from some people saying he did the same match all the time. I never saw that. He might have done the same moves, but Flair would work to the guy he was working. So if he was working a 7-foot guy, it was different than a match with a 5-foot guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Different match for Flair. But I see that a lot in Nakamura. Nakamura can adjust as needed. He can change on the fly. He can do whatever it takes to get the match over. And because Nakamura is an old pro, like we said before, and old pros know this: if you get the match over, you get yourself over. Bottom line, folks, and that's important. Get the match over equals getting yourself over, okay? And that's a big deal. So I was not surprised in the slightest, again, when he went over on Cena. I was concerned by the reaction, but all of that has to do with his booking. It has absolutely nothing to do with Nakamura himself. It has to do with Nakamura's booking as a top guy since he got to that company, and how weak it's actually been. Because, again, it's been weak, and fans look at that and they say, well, why should I accept this guy when he works Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph, pretty much, hands his lunch to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I've been really anti Nakamura's push since the moment he got there. And I still am, to be honest with you. And I've just not been happy with it in the slightest. So, I think that's going to have to get better. Well, for one thing, Nakamura from this point on until SummerSlam has got to look top class, first class. Baron Corbin can no longer attack him. He can no longer be ripped in a promo. You see what I'm saying? He can't be left for dead in the middle of the ring or backstage or on the ramp. That crap's got to stop, man, because, he's getting ready to face the WWE champion, and fans need to believe that Nakamura is going to take that title, which begs the question, now that we're speaking of it, is Nakamura going to be your next WWE champion? I am back and forth on this. I believe that Corbin is the X factor. For obvious reasons, Corbin is the X factor. And I think that they are anxious to put that belt on Corbin. But they shouldn't be, in my opinion. I think Corbin's got some more work ahead of him. Nakamura's ready right now. He was ready the day he got there. In terms of can he do it? Yes, he can. In terms of his booking and how fans have either accepted him or not, maybe not. Just my opinion. But, again, I think that they want to put that belt on Corbin. So Corbin's the X factor. Would I put the belt on Nakamura? In my humble opinion, it should be Nakamura versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34 for the WWE Championship. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think it will be Nakamura versus Styles at WrestleMania 34. However, I don't believe a championship will be involved. That's my take. I don't see it happening. And if it is, it'll be the United States Championship. They will have an instant classic at WrestleMania 34, and it will steal the show. and it will be considered the main event, because there's nothing anyone else is going to be able to put on besides those two guys on the grandest stage of them all that will get over like Styles versus Nakamura will. And that's the truth of the matter right there, folks. There will be no bigger match. It'll be big in terms of marquee value. It will be big in terms of name recognition. It'll be big in terms of selling tickets. But when you talk about the impact the match will have on the card and the greatness of the match itself, nothing's going to top Styles versus Nakamura. Goldberg might be back by WrestleMania 34. Who knows? I don't doubt it in the slightest. I don't know who he'll work, but I think he'll be back. But Styles versus Nakamura will absolutely steal the show and should be considered the main event, the absolute main event of WrestleMania 34. It won't be, but it should be. How about that? I'll be honest with you, I don't really have a prediction here. I'm probably going to do some predictions before the month's out about what's going to happen between Nakamura and Mahal, but I think I'm okay either way. Nakamura's going to look good. As long as he looks good in the finish, that's what matters to me. If he gets screwed out of the title by Baron Corbin, that prolongs the program with them, which I'm okay with to a certain extent, but WWE has proven they have no problem putting Nakamura flat on his back whenever they need to put Corbin over, which is understandable. Corbin's he's the future WWE champion. He's Mr. Money in the Bank. I get all that stuff. It's not like I don't understand it. Don't misunderstand me here, folks. I get it. Doesn't mean I'm really, actually very freaking happy with it. I think Nakamura's been on his back way too much since he got to the main roster. He didn't get this kind of stuff when he was in NXT, which I know it's two different animals, I understand. But I'm getting a little tired of seeing that. So, I don't know how that's going to end up. I would love to see Nakamura with the championship. But I will say this, and this goes back to the column I read for Bleacher on the pros and cons of Nakamura versus Mahal at SummerSlam. I don't want one and done for Nakamura. I don't want him to hold the championship for a month and then drop it to Corbin. I don't want that. I don't want any of that stuff. I want Nakamura to have a lengthy run. You always want your favorites. You always want the best guys in the promotion to have a lengthy title run. We wanted it for Punk, and he got it. We wanted it for Styles, and he got it. I mean, he didn't get 441 days, but he got a good run, I thought. And, you always want, again, the best talent to have the best run, because the best talent deserves it. The best talent are the ones that are working hard to get over, to put butts in the seats, and to make the matches look good. And when you got guys who are as committed to their craft as Nakamura and Styles and Punk was, then you want to see those guys do well. I think people really want to see Nakamura do well. I believe that, and I believe that, and I think that's the actual truth. And it's been the truth for me for a long time. Back in New Japan, I felt the same way. I love this guy. Speaking of New Japan, segue. How are you on the G1 tournament right now? Because, man, I'm so far behind. It is insane how far behind I am right now. As I record this, it is August 4th, and on the New Japan, the New Japan World app, I'm just now up to the end of July 30th. That's how far behind I am. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I binge watched like two nights in a row to get caught up. It's so much wrestling, I can't stand it. But I love it. I love it. There's only some things about New Japan. You see patterns after you watch for a while. The Minoru Suzuki character, the guy, I don't sell anything. I'm the Undertaker times 12. Dude, I don't care for that. I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a fan of that. I think that shouldn't be happening. I think the creative minds behind New Japan need to put the kibosh on that, and I think it hurts the overall program. I think it hurts the show, my opinion. Just imagine if you had like the Undertaker times 12 every single week. Now, he would be over because he's popular, but after a while people would say, oh, come on, that didn't hurt him at all. You see what I'm saying? And it would begin to take away from the character. Whatever is good about Suzuki's character in New Japan has been destroyed, in my view, by the fact that he does not sell. Now, some of those guys don't sell during various spots in their matches. I get that. You have the thing where two guys go head-to-head, toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye, nose-to-nose, and they're throwing the forearm shivers to the side of the neck, to the side of the heads, which explains why everyone has cauliflower ears in that company, right? I get that. It's a test of wills. It's a test of your manhood, that kind of thing. Well, I'm tougher than you are. No, I'm tougher than you are. I get that. But when you got a guy that does that every single move in the match, it infuriates me. So I'm not high on that. So there are various things in that company that I'm not sold on. However, as a whole, I do enjoy New Japan. As I said, I've been binge watching. I love Okada. I cannot sing Okada's praises enough. I can't. The guy is a living legend. I saw someone say the words living legend. I thought, I don't know that I would have called him that, but it actually makes a lot of sense. For the world that he lives in New Japan, he is a living legend. And dude, he's like 27, I think. Dude's not even 30, for crying out loud. Now, you might look that up. I might look it up later and say, dude, I'm an idiot. I got it wrong. But I want to say he's 27 or 28. Dude's not even 30 years old, Jack. Can you imagine? And look where he's at. He's so good. Okada has an innate ability to not only connect, but to get over. He has the it factor, folks. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't learn it. You're born with it or you're not. He's absolutely born with it. Of all the guys in that company I would love to see go to WWE, I got to be honest with you, I don't want to see it being Okada because they would make a joke out of him. And again, I love me some Nakamura, but I've not been impressed with what they've done with him so far on the main roster. I think the same would be true with Okada, and I just don't want to see that happen. We won't go back too much on the board booking for Nakamura too much. I'm just putting it out there for you. Again. But I love me some Kazuchika Okada. I love that guy. He's the absolute best in that company. Debatable, of course, if you are a New Japan fan, because you're automatically going to say to me, Tom, what about the face of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi? Jim Ross has described Tanahashi as the John Cena of New Japan. And it has nothing to do with his style in the ring, because Tanahashi could work circles around John Cena. By the way, if you want to talk about a guy that maybe should go to WWE, it's Tanahashi. By far. Tanahashi would fit in. Tanahashi's a rock star. Okay? If Okada is... I mean, I guess Okada's a rock star too. Okada looks like a movie star. Do you know what I'm saying? Okada looks like a movie star. He's like a matinee idol. That's what Okada is. But Tanahashi's a rock star, man. Straight up. Tanahashi is Keith Richards. Tanahashi is Roger Daltrey. You look at this guy and he's born with it. Again, born with it. Grown into it. Very, very comfortable in his own skin. People cannot get enough of this guy. And with good reason. That company was not doing well until he rose up. And when he got hot, that company got hot. I mean, they owe a lot of their success today of where they are right now to Tanahashi. That's a guy you want to keep happy. You better believe they don't want to lose him. That's the truth. I don't know how the inner workings are of New Japan. I've never claimed to know. But if I'm running the show behind the scenes of New Japan, I'm not letting Tanahashi go for anything. Pay the man. Do you understand? Whatever he wants, pay the man. Bottom line, 3 words, real simple. Pay attention. Pay the man. What's he want? Pay him. I'm in the office at New Japan. Okay? And one of my guys comes in, one of my staff, one of my right-hand guys. You are my number one. A guy. Batman reference, 1989. Thank you very much. But, one of my guys comes in and says, Sir, Tanahashi, thinking about WWE. He's doing what? Pay the man. Yeah, but he wants, pay him. I don't care. What's he want? Pay him. I mean, straight up. However, I would love to see him in WWE. I think it'd be a great fit for him. He wouldn't lose a step. He wouldn't lose a thing. He wouldn't need to be what everyone wants Nakamura to be in WWE. Tanahashi wouldn't need to be that. Tanahashi's already that. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's not a diss Nakamura at all. I love Shinsuke. I do. But Tanahashi's already that. So I think it would be a natural fit. Him versus Cena before Cena hangs it up? Absolutely. In fact, sign Tanahashi today. I would love to see it. Don't put him against Nakamura. Don't need to. No need for that. But sign Tanahashi. Tanahashi versus Seth Rollins in a 30-minute match. Book it. Book it, baby. I'm there. I mean, straight up. Can you imagine how great of a match that would be? I love me some Tanahashi. The ace of New Japan. So, yeah, I mean, Tanahashi, Okada, top 2 guys in that company by far. Absolutely. But there's other talent there. Ishii, the Stone Pitbull. I love that guy. He walks like his shoulders are all up around his neck. He has no neck. It's okay. He doesn't need one. Tough as nails. The Unchained Gorilla, Makabe. Tough as nails. Tough as shoe leather, man. Both of them. Crazy. Just smash. The word smash mouth in pro wrestling, Jim Ross didn't know at the time, but when he started using the phrase smash mouth, he was talking about Ishii and Makabe. 100%. In fact, after you see those two guys, don't use the term for anyone else. Smash mouth. That's it. Straight up. Kota Ibushi back in New Japan. The story right now, I can neither confirm nor deny. I can only tell you what I've heard, what I've been told by various people, is that Ibushi was offered a deal by WWE. It wasn't working for him, not in terms of money, but in terms of his life, his lifestyle, his schedule. So he went back to New Japan, more flexible, right? He's back home. Ibushi is one of the most exciting, dynamic performers you'll ever see. If you've never seen Ibushi in the ring, watch him. He's ageless, by the way. Well, like Cena. He looks like he hasn't aged in 10 years. But, and again, another young cat. And in his prime. And looking amazing, as always. Great talent, Ibushi is. Tetsuya Naito. Cannot forget Naito. Los Igborno. I can't even say it. And I watch it all the time. And I can't even pronounce it. Igbornobles. See? I do a great disservice to Naito. My apologies to you, Naito. But it's a great little faction. He's got Sonata, Evil, Bushi, Takahashi. Is that the guy's name? I think they used to have the stuffed cat. I know it sounds funny. You got to go look it up. It is funny, but it's over. And Naito, for all of his, I spit in the face of my opponents, which he actually physically does, throws the championship around, tosses it down the ground like he doesn't care about it, stomps on it or whatever. Naito he's warmed up to the crowd. I'm sure he wasn't cold to them to begin with. It's all character. I get that. Igbornobles. Is that it? Jesus H. My apologies. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop while I'm behind, okay? Quit while I'm behind. But Naito, when he comes down the ramp, he's got his hands out. He's bumping fists with fans. He's fit right in. So it's good to see that, but at the same time, it does maybe take a bit of the edge off his character. They love him. They love him in the way they love Stone Cold as a heel. And if you think I'm exaggerating, go look it up. YouTube that crap, man. Trust me. Better yet, get the New Japan World app. What are you doing? What are you doing without the New Japan World app? My God in heaven. Have you lost your mind? It's like $10 a month. It's nothing. Chicken feed. For some of the best matches on the planet right now, and their archives dating all the way back to, is it the 50s, I think? 60s maybe? Crazy. Go check it out. You have to. But again, some great talent in that company. Michael Elgin is there. Ring of Honor guy. He's American, of course. But the Japanese talent in that company, dude, smash mouth. I'm telling you. Strong style, you better believe it. Again, got my issues with that. It's well documented here on the show. It'll be documented again as time goes on, I'm sure. But, so let's look at it as a whole. If we believe Tanahashi should go to WWE, should Nakamura have went? Well, yeah, of course he should. If you got a platform in WWE and you've got a plan for him, then make it happen. I still debate whether or not they have a solid plan or how strong that plan is. But he's there. He's making the best of it. People do love him. And I want to see him do well. And I think he will. Tanahashi should be there before he decides to hang it up one day. I'd love to see him there. He again, tremendous shape, can really go in the ring, can have an hour-long match, and you never get tired of watching him. That's the great thing about Tanahashi, Nakamura, and Okada. You just never get tired of watching them. And they tell such a story. What happened to storytelling in the business? People are so concerned with swerves and who's going to turn when. And I get that, and I understand it makes the headlines, and I understand people want to talk about it. I talk about it too. I do. And I write about it a lot, actually. Sometimes more than I'd care to, but I do. But the storytelling that goes on in the match is that's the most important part. That's the thrust of it. That's what brings people to the table, folks. Do what brung you to the dance, as it were, That's what we're talking about. It's telling a story in the ring. It's great stuff. When you are a storyteller and you're getting your thing done and you're putting butts in the seats because they can't wait to see you tell your story, then you're doing a great justice to the business. You are an asset to the industry. When you're just along for the ride, or you're just there to get famous, or just there to get rich, you're ruining it for everyone else. When you just want to make the gag reel on YouTube, make it a joke, super kick kids in the ring, you're a moron. Straight up. Heck with that stuff, man. Don't worry, I'm not going to soapbox too much. I don't have a segue. We're going to go back to SummerSlam real quick. Nakamura versus Mahal is not the only match booked at SummerSlam so far. You have the Fatal 4-Way. And we talked a little bit about this on the last program. We're not going to get too much into it right now. But, and you know the Fatal 4-Way. Strowman, Reigns, Joe, Lesnar for the Universal Championship. I hesitate because the whole Lesnar thing is a whole other topic in and of itself. We've covered it here ad nauseum on the program. I've covered it in columns through the years. My belief system about Brock Lesnar, that overall he's not helping the product. He helps in the short term, not the long term, because he's not a long-term guy. He doesn't want to be a long-term guy. I think we can all agree on that one. But again, we won't get too wrapped up in that. Let me go ahead and break this down for you right now and see what your take is. Who's going over in this match? Who is going to be the Universal Champion? Are we going to crown two brand new champions at SummerSlam? Are both brands going to get a new champion? I happen to believe Lesnar's going to win the title. Retain the title. And here's the thing. If I'm right and he does, who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat him, man? When the three top guys on Monday Night Raw in one match cannot take down Brock Lesnar, then Brock Lesnar cannot be taken down. I still want to see Nakamura versus Brock Lesnar. Back to Nakamura. My apologies. Not going to happen right now, but I'd still love to see it. But when you've got Raw's top three guys in the same match, in a match in which the champ does not need to get pinned and Lesnar does not lose the title, then no one's going to be able to take it from him. Period. So whatever you book after that, I might be on the hook for it, depending upon how it's booked or who you throw in there. But at the same time, I have to be honest with you and tell you straight up, it doesn't make any sense. And it won't make any sense whenever that moment comes. Whenever that moment happens, it will not make sense. Period. Doesn't mean I like it. Just means that's what it is. It means how it is, man. What are you going to do, right? But yeah, I don't see Lesnar losing the championship. And maybe I'm wrong. I have 3 opportunities to be wrong. There's 75%, 75% chance I'll be wrong. Because everyone's got an equal shot, right? I'd love to see Joe with the title. I would. Joe with the Universal title, Nakamura with the WWE Championship. Remember the run they had in NXT? Come on, man. That'd be great. That would be a landmark day in that company. Well, the real landmark day maybe would be when Styles is one champion and Nakamura is the other. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But I just, again, for my money, Lesnar's going over. And I'm not done writing about this yet. I got a lot more stuff to cover on it, I'm sure. Going to talk a lot more about it here on the show. Talk a lot more about it online. Because that's what I'm doing. And there's a lot more to go. There's a long way to go on this deal, man. So we'll see how it all plays out. Supposedly, if Lesnar loses the championship, he's gone from the company. If you believe that, you believe anything. I do know through various sources that his supposedly 2018 is it. He may not make it past WrestleMania 34 because he's supposedly perhaps got the itch to go back to MMA again. Don't know how that's going to play out, but if he decides to do that, then it is what it is. But, I'm curious to see how that is going to happen, how that will play out in the end. And see what happens from that point on. But I got to be honest with you, man. I am as excited for SummerSlam in 2017 as I have been for anything in a long time. I was pumped up for WrestleMania. I think I'm perhaps more pumped up for SummerSlam. And I think it's going to be a good show. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Bayley, by the way, again, I'm going to get a few things in here before we take this show home. I don't know the latest, but Bayley, shoulder injury. Not sure how long she's going to be out, what the prognosis is. You might know that by the time you hear this. I hate that for her. She's had a rough go of it since she got to Monday Night Raw. Bayley's character is very antiseptic. Do you know what I'm saying? Very whitewashed, and I don't mean that in the way it might sound. Sanitary. Her character, maybe that's what the word is I'm looking for. Her character is very sanitary. As good as good can be, as wholesome can be, with an edge that you don't ever really see all too often. She's a good girl, good person. That's her character. That's what she is, and that's great. Fans don't really care for that. Not in a man and not in a woman. After a point in time, they want to see someone get down and dirty. They want to see, if you got to throw a forearm to the back of the head, do it. And that's human nature. Maybe not so much in the 80s, but that's what we've evolved to now. That's what it's been since the Attitude Era and afterward. Is the whole idea that, I like my good guys good, but not too good. Don't be disgusting. If you're too syrupy sweet, I'm going to turn on you. That's the thing with Bayley. But all the best to Bayley. We hope she's good and speedy recovery. Get yourself back in the ring. And again, I'm not quite sure what the prognosis is right now. I've not looked it up, but hopefully she's back in record time, whatever the injury may be. What else is going on right now? Tag team competition on Monday Night Raw. It looks as though, in my opinion, it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus versus Ambrose and Rollins at SummerSlam. Wrote a column for Bleacher recently on what I predict is going to be the outcome of Ambrose and Rollins. I don't see this partnership doing anything except ending in a feud. And I don't know that Ambrose will necessarily turn heel, but I think he'll turn on Seth at some point. And his comment will be, "I did it before he could do it to me." And because I think it'll be Ambrose versus Rollins at Mania. It could even be Ambrose versus Rollins versus Reigns at Mania, which I think 2018 is a good time for that. An all-Shield main event. I think it's time to make that happen. All three guys are on the same program. Put the Universal title on one of them, and let's make this happen. Let's make it. Let's go. Let's just do it. I think 2019 is too far removed. I still think it would work, but I think 2018 is a perfect time for it. 2018 would be around 4 years since Seth had turned. Is that right? 2014 when he turned and stabbed the Shield in the back. I think it's right. So that'll be great timing, and I say do it. I say do it straight up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to see an all-Shield main event at WrestleMania. I think it's about time. Speaking of tag team competition at SummerSlam, I think it's going to be the Hardys versus the Revival versus the Club, and I think you're going to see the return of Broken Matt Hardy. I think they're close to reaching an agreement, and if they've not reached it yet, I think they will, and I think it could very well be they've already reached an agreement and everyone's keeping their mouths shut, which is good. Matt is teasing the Broken character on social media. He and Jeff have teased it on TV. I would not be surprised if they hit a different kind of music similar to what they had in TNA, that will work up something nice for them at SummerSlam, and they'll come out. Jeff will have the white contacts in, and Matt will have the outfit. Jeff will look the part, and it'll be Broken Matt Hardy. And they will win the match for number one contendership for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. My prediction. What else is happening on the tag team side? The Usos on SmackDown are killing it. Very happy with where Jimmy and Jay are right now. Absolutely killing it. I want to see the Fashion Police get a run, to be honest with you, because I love those two guys. A friend of mine the other day was like, "This is garbage. I hate this." I'm like, dude, this is getting over. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Even in 2017, with fans accustomed to the way WWE does their show business, okay? There's some fans out there who don't care for it, and I understand that. And I'm an old school fan, and I get where they're coming from. But I take it at face value, and I take it for what it's worth, and it's entertaining to me. It's fun to me. I like watching them. Plus, you got to give them kudos, man, for sticking together and making this thing work, just like the New Day did. New Day could have fallen flat on their faces, and again, it could have just died a slow, horrendous, scary death. However, it has not. Breezango's working. They're getting over Fashion Police all day long. So I say it's awesome. I'm all about it. What else is going on here before we take this thing home? Intercontinental Championship, Miz. Really not very sure where that's going maybe at the moment. Maybe Miz versus Jason Jordan, perhaps for the Intercontinental title. I would not be surprised to see Jordan win it. United States Championship, Owens lost the belt again. So he and Styles will have a rematch at SummerSlam. So we'll see how that goes. I think Owens will win, but I'm not too sure on that one. Right now, that title is not... I don't think the title is the story. The story is the 5-star matches those two guys are having. So if we can keep those two guys working with each other and turning in 5-star performances, I say keep them running forever. I'm for it. I say do this. A lot more stuff we haven't covered today. This has not exactly been a SummerSlam preview. Again, we touched on a lot of that in 77. I just had some things I wanted to talk about, primarily Nakamura's win over Cena. And what happens from there on with Cena. It's not over yet, folks. Don't be surprised if it's Cena versus Corbin. It looks like it's going to... Well, it's not looks like. It's going to be Rusev versus Randy Orton, which is going to be different. Randy Orton came out, the veteran, getting in the face of the guy running his mouth, which is kind of odd. But, it is what it is. But, God, people love Randy Orton, don't they? It's insane. Not that he doesn't deserve it. The guy is, paid his dues for sure. A guaranteed first bout Hall of Famer in that company, no doubt about it. But man, people really love the Viper, man, out of nowhere. All right. So yeah, man, like I said, a lot more stuff going on right now that we're not going to be able to cover today. But I just want to get some stuff off my chest and talk to you a little bit about what's happening recently. Let's go ahead and take this thing home. You know where to find us: BoingStudios.com. You'll find the links to Bleacher Report. You'll find the links to Camel Clutch Blog, to Sportskeeda. You'll find the links to the podcast. You'll look at the top banner to the pictures of the podcast, the shows. Our sister podcast, Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show, Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour, all under the Boink Studios umbrella. The music you heard on this podcast is done, of course, by our good friend Philip Goose Fender, incredible musician. I myself have picked up the bass. I'm still playing. I play bass every night now, and I'm digging it. I'm still learning. I'm still a beginner. I feel like I've done a lot better in the past couple of months. I've learned a lot. Still working on it. It's becoming a passion for me. I've always been a big music guy, but I especially am now because I'm starting to develop an ear for timing and for the beats and stuff, and it's pretty cool. And but again, I'm not going to be John Paul Jones anytime soon, folks. So don't be looking for my debut with Zeppelin at the moment. So. I'm a long ways away from ever being even that close to being that good. But I practice. Practice makes perfect, my friend. And that's what I'm doing right now. So we'll see what happens. It's a hobby, but I love it. It's a passion. Just like pro wrestling is a passion, in case you hadn't figured that out. But again, man, go check us out, Boink Studios. You'll find everything you need there. Give us a shout, boinkstudios@yahoo.com. Follow us on Twitter, boinkstudios@yahoo.com, or follow me, Tom Clark BR. Follow Kyle DJ Smith. That's it for us, man. We're out of here. We're going to be back real soon with episode number 79. The surprise is coming in September. Stay tuned for that one. That might be episode number 80. I've not decided yet what I'm going to do there. But thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being who you are, for being you. And thanks for always supporting us, man. We do appreciate it and everything that we get from you guys. We're very humbled by the attention. Thanks for the downloads. Thanks for everything you do for us. We're going to be back again real soon. So check us out next time around on Tom Clark's Main Event.